Good evening, Karen. This is Kim. It is Monday evening, February 21st, and this is attempt number 4 to record this vlog. My son is very loud, and after recording the first two, I ran out of batteries. So, here we go again. I finally finished a book in a decent amount of time this time. The book I was reading was The Lost Quilter by Jennifer Chiaverini, and it is number 14 in a series of books that apparently is called the Elm Creek Quilt book series. And it was recommended to our book club by another book club, and they said that it was a good book and we should all read it, whatever. So we decided to read it, and when I heard this, quilting is not my area. I don't do sewing. I don't do any kind of crafts, really. Like, reading and playing around on the computer are kind of my hobbies, which isn't really good for a stay-at-home mom to do those kind of things. And baking, lots of baking. But I actually liked this book a lot. It wasn't so much about quilting, which was fantastic. They did, like they would talk about sewing a quilt block, but they wouldn't go into detail about it, which was nice. But the basic actual plot line of this book was about a slave girl named Joanna. She was a slave at a farm in Virginia. She ran away to this Elm Creek quilting place and was taken in by them to have a baby, and then before she was able to run away with her child to Canada, she ended up being recaptured by the slavers. So the story is actually about her time after she was recaptured and how she was sold further south to the master's brother down in South Carolina, and dealing with the new master down there. And it's really interesting from a historical point of view. I think, if I remember all of my history classes correctly, it seems pretty spot on, historically speaking. So it's really interesting to see how the slaves were dealt with, and to kind of see how the slaves thought, and how they dealt with their white masters versus the other slaves and things like that. And then it also throws in a little bit about the white mistress, the Southern Belle, who has been trained to read Greek and embroider, and now has control of all these slaves and a household, and her husband has gone off to war. It was during the Civil War, too. And so it was really interesting to see the different aspects of Southern life and how they all kind of come together. And it was really informational. So if you're into that kind of thing, I would highly recommend the book. But as far as the rest of the series goes, I'm not so sure I'm going to read it. The epilogue, the prologue, is 20 pages of exposition. And she threw in some dialogue in the exposition, which made it worse, actually, because it took what could have been a shorter exposition and just drug it out. And yeah. And the characters you see in the prologue and the dialogue, I assume, are the characters for the rest of the series, and they didn't seem very interesting to me. It was a gal researching her heritage, which, again, genealogy, not my area. So the researching and quilting and no. This particular book, yes. The rest of the series, no. So, if you're interested in learning more about slavery and the South and Civil War times, I would recommend this book as like a little piece of it. But my next book I will be getting into is either going to be the Spiderwick Chronicles or Alice in Wonderland. I haven't decided which one I'm going to attack first. So if you have any suggestions or comments or questions down below in the comments, please leave them. And this is for my book group tomorrow night, so hopefully we get some really good discussion. If it's super good, I might make another vlog to bring out some of the questions. Probably not. So I look forward to talking to you about my next book adventure. Have a fantastic night.